So these are all of the monsters or little critters that we've drawn so far. You'll notice that I've embellished them by adding shadows and kind of telling a story about each one of these characters based on the environment that I've created around them. And some of them are very simple. This one just has like a little mountain range behind it. This one just has almost a straight line with the sky. Two of them so far, these two, look like underwater creatures, as does this one, but this one's not underwater. Maybe he's on the beach. These are not my original cartoons, by the way. I'm going to contact the original artist. I saw these originally a couple of years ago on deviantart.com. And so I'm going to contact the original artist so that I can get permission to publish these videos. I don't know if this particular cartoonist or illustrator uses the method that I use, but after having drawn this one today based on the basic shapes of this helmet head, rectangular body, and just simple lines for arms and legs, I want to show you today's, which looks like this, sort of a fairy mouse illustration. And I want to show you how I approach this type of drawing. So I'm going to zoom in real tight to the rectangle for today's drawing. And if I can zoom out just a little bit to include the mouse that we're drawing. A little bit more. You can tell that I'm thinking of this and doing it at the same time, meaning this was not practiced ahead of time. So the way I would approach this is to look at the basic shapes of the animal. This particular one, its stomach is primarily square shaped. I didn't leave enough room on the side for the wings, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit and just very quickly draw the wings. I'm not as concerned with drawing it exactly as it is, as much as understanding the basic shapes. And you'll also notice that I'm drawing very lightly, because as I draw the darkened lines, after I do the construction lines, I will fit that information in there, and you'll see what it looks like at the end. So the head is kind of rounded on the top, and then it has these two massive ears. The eyes are set low on the head. And even though the tail on here kind of goes up that way, I didn't leave a whole lot of room over here. So I'm going to change the tail and make it go down like that. And notice how I didn't draw the thickness of the tail. I drew just a line. And then right here at the base of where its head is, it's got buck teeth. Don't forget the little tufts of hair in its ear on both sides. And then the inside of the ear kind of looks like that. So that's the basis of this drawing. The next step I'm going to do is start darkening in the areas. And I'm going to start with the ears. Inside of the ear. All I'm doing is applying a little more pressure. And I'm going to go ahead and do both of them at the same time, or one after the other. Again, I'm not as concerned that it looks exactly like the original, as long as you can tell that this one was derived from that one. Top of the head. I think I made it a little more pointy than the original. This one's a little flatter. The body's a little more rounded. These little tiny feet at the bottom. And then the wings look like butterfly wings, sort of. Very simple. Just a few lines to describe the shapes. The mouth actually stops here, doesn't go all the way to the side of the head. Buck teeth. And the hands and the arms are very simple. Last thing is the tail, and I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. Make it narrow at the end. And that's the basic drawing of that mouse. Again, it doesn't look exactly the same. The eyes are different. The shape of the head's a little different. But it has all the basic features. If I were to draw this a couple of times, I could probably get it fairly close to the original. But the last thing I want to do here is I want to add some shading with the side of my pencil. And since this mouse creature has wings, I'm just going to draw a couple of clouds up here and down here. And then maybe do some birds, or as I have heard them called before, an M bird. And then I'm going to go around the mouse and the clouds using the side of my pencil just to shade it in. One of the things that we're going to start focusing on in the coming weeks as we continue to draw these projects or these little cartoons is to make up stories about them and then create little cartoons or comics. The other thing I like to do is add some dimension to the shapes. It's a very rounded mouse. Maybe a little shadow underneath the tooth, a little shadow under the arms. Make the inside of the ears a little darker. And that's the finished cartoon. Today's date is the 27th. So I'm going to put 2/27 down here at the bottom. And that will be my demo for Google Classroom for any students who were not here today.